morning to you all. So today I brought you a different blend from my cellar. As you could see from the title, this is Reiner's Gold 71. Reiner Blend 71 rather. And I'm just going to smoke it in my, of course, in my 78320. And Roma Lucite, I mean, you know, this is considered a vapor, Virginia Perique, but since there is burley in it and I just love the look of the Roma Lucite, I cheated a bit. So as you probably know already by my videos, I'm going to make a whole pipe cellar or pipe stock video, but I smoke my burleys in my Roma Lucite in memory of John, matches 860, but mine is a 320, so this is what I'm smoking it in. And I brought all the details that I could find about Reiner 71. So this is a long golden flake, and it's manufactured by Reiner, a German company with a reputation for a lot of quality blends. And this particular one is in Virginia Perique with a little bit of twist that we'll get into shortly. Okay, and I brought my Caribe, but of course also my trusty Zippo with the butane insert in case there is a bit of wind. And today I just got my check tool as a temper. And you can maybe hear a bit of noise, which is some airplanes in the background. So Reiner 71. I will put up a short video also about the tin and the tobacco itself while I'm talking about these things. But tin description, you know, it paints kind of a tantalizing picture, if you want to say so. A very special blend of Golden Virginias, a little white burley, which is why I'm smoking it here, and a touch of Perique to make things interesting. Pressed into long flakes, sliced, then rolled in the tin in long strips, as you can see. It's a description that immediately sets the expectations for this smoke. I would say, but a lot of blends have, a nice thin description. It's up to the smoke and up to you to decide afterwards if it really lived up to that description. Yeah. So let's break down what's actually in this blend. So the backbone of Long Golden Flake is Golden Virginia, which typically brings some sweetness and hay-like quality to the mix. But the addition of these white burleys adds some body and some nutty undertone, while this pinch of Perique spices things up, of course, with some peppery notes. Now what's really interesting is how this tobacco is presented. I mean, it's not your typical ribbon cut, it's or even a standard flake. Instead it's pressed into long thin flakes, then rolled, and it looks appealing, but it also changes how you want to pack and smoke it. Now when it comes to packing, you have two options for this. You have basically two options, right? I mean, you can pack the bowl in many different ways as you want, but you can rub out the flakes into ribbons, or even more so, and you can also fold and stuff them, or use a combination of these. And personally, I rub out my flakes. I just put them into my palm, and like I would make a small ball out of them. I just rub them out almost completely, and I just stuff that little ball into the bowl, right? And some small parts, some small chunks, very small pieces, I put on the top of that. This zooms out. So on the top, in order to more easily light it, to kind of to kindle it, or how you'd say it. So when you light this up, that's where things get a bit interesting. So I mentioned in my previous video that I won't get into too much of reviews of myself, so I'm not going to say, I'm not going to dwell into too much of these hay and these figs and these things. You've heard these a thousand of times, but this is how I would shortly explain it. It's subtle. It's not in your face. It's of course that fresh hay and that light sweetness from the Virginias, but as you go through this, usually that's when you pick up a very small faint of vanilla note, which could be from the casing or the natural flavors of the tobacco. So I'm not, maybe not that pro in this to distinguish those two. Or maybe the blender actually is that experienced that I can't pick that up. That's the difference between also the casings and the flavorings. The casing is not supposed to be detected. That's supposed to bring out the natural flavors of the tobacco. The flavoring is different. That's up there to give you a flavor. Right. The burley adds a kind of a toasty quality to it, not much, and also the perique is there, but also not much. So this is, in my opinion, it's quite low on both burley and perique. If you know those two blends, you can recognize them from time to time, but for me it's a more Virginia forward blend. And some say there's also a honey and orange flavoring applied, but it's done with a light hand, I think, complementing rather than overshadowing these natural tobacco flavors. So it's quite subtle. If you're coming from a bolder, more in-your-face tobaccos, you might need to recalibrate your palate a bit for this. You really need to take your time with it to enjoy the nuances. In terms of smoking characteristics, it's a well-behaved tobacco. It burns cool, slow. It's great for savoring the flavors. The moisture level out of the tin is pretty much spot on. If you want to dry it out a bit, that won't hurt, but I didn't dry out this one, and it's not gurgling or anything. It's not that it's not damp or something like that. I'm drinking some coffee with it, but I think this could go well with, let's say, a light tea. But I think coffee is quite good with this. Coffee is similar, I think, to these tastes. It's depends on how you drink your coffee. I drink it with milk, with just a bit of sweetener, and that's quite similar, I think, to Reiner 71. So it comes in a 100-gram tin with a nice design. It's not that flashy. I think the tobacco is beautiful. I mean, these long flakes are just gorgeous. some even find it, I think, too mild. That's something I read online. People find it too mild of a blend. It's not for your your English smokers or heavy, Latakia smokers. If you like that and you don't like a very laid back, subtle tobacco, because that's what this is, I think. Some say it lacks the flavor or intensity. It it does if you come from that background, but it's not a con, in my opinion. I think it's a pro. If you want to really enjoy and sip on it, and you want something simple after your usual Englishes or Balkan mixtures with a lot of stuff in it. So this is still in production. You can find this. It's usually it's widely available, and it will age well as well. So I kept this in a jar, but I have two of the big things unopened, from 2020. I think you saw that on the video. But I kept this in a jar, and it's beautiful. It's subtle. It doesn't burn. It doesn't, I don't get any tongue bite. But also, that's all. I'm smoking it in I think this is a 9mm or 6mm. I don't remember, but it's a filtered one. I smoke usually everything with balsa filters from 7Alley, and I like the 320, of course. And what also I found when I read about this is that people compare it to Orlik Golden Slides, which is a popular vapor as well, but this one is it's, let's say, the burley gives it a bit more character. It gives it a different character than Orlik, I think. And I do enjoy my white burleys. That's something I very much like. So if you like white burleys, if you like Virginias, this is definitely for you. So it won't knock your socks off with intense flavors, but it invites you to slow down, to appreciate subtle nuances. So you want to sit back, you want to drink with this, and you want to really give yourself time to enjoy it. And that's what I'm going to do now. So actually about the company a bit more, I couldn't find too much about the background. There's limited information that I could find about release date or circumstances or inspiration for this blend, but the available information, what I could find, is that Reiner tobacco blends were developed by this guy Rüdiger L. Will, who is a master tobacconist from Germany. And he grew up around tobacco. His father co-owned a tobacco and cigar factory. And after years of studying tobacco worldwide, he helped to create the Reiner line of pipe tobacco with the first blend, which was called Reiner Professional, launched in 1990. But for the Reiner 71, or Blend 71, Long Golden Flake, in its right name, the exact release date I couldn't find for this blend. The earliest mentions of this blend is from around 2009, but this might not be the actual release date of it. So that's it about the blend. If you are looking for something that is not kicking you in the face with nicotine and with flavors, you're looking for something subtle, and you like Virginias, bright Virginias, but you also like your little white burleys added, and Perique added, just a small hint of interesting things in it, or surprising flavors that you go through, then this Reiner 71 I think is perfect for you. So guys, try it out. Put one tin in your cellar, wait 5 years, 10 years, I think you're going to enjoy it. That's my take, what I can find on Reiner 71. If you like this, drop a like, tell me in the comments. I will leave the sources for what I found in the comment section for you. And if you want to see more, let me know. I will do this anyways for all the blends I smoke, because I love learning about them. Love, finding out the history of the blender, of the brand, of the contents and everything. So if you like it as well, hit the sub, you know the drill. But remember guys, this is just tobacco. So enjoy.